After 7 rounds, the Tigers had worn loss like a second skin. They were bottom of the ladder, talk of relegation no longer whispered but carved into conversations with an almost grim certainty. Week after week, that is what it was like. Until last weekend, come the 8th round, something changed. The Tigers tasted victory, and not just any victory, it came against the side who we thought were banked in the top 4, who we have long been high flyers on the table. And you know what? It was pretty, it was polished, and it was most certainly passionate. Because for 90 minutes, Quakers Hill shook off the ghosts of their season, and they played not just for the badge, but for each other. The kind of performance that can shift destinies completely. Now let's talk about Riverstone Schofields. No side has epitomised unpredictability more this year than the men from Riverstone. After 4 winless weeks, their midweek realignment has reignited their top 4 hopes. Confidence rekindled. A win against Eastern Creek on Wednesday night has shown what they're capable of at their very best, and they're about to unveil a couple of brand new signings here tonight as well. Both of these teams recently featured in match of the round fixtures at this very venue. Tigers, in theirs, went down 4-1 to the table toppers Marion, a game where they were fundamentally outclassed. River, on the other hand, were the better team as a whole against Polonia, but a 6-minute spell saw them concede 3 goals. The game finished 3-1, but it was a day determined by their collective 6-minute lapse. 2 clubs, River chasing legitimacy and a first finals finish in a long, long time in the First Division. Whereas Tigers, well, they're running from the abyss. River have been here in this division for well more than 5 years, but for so long they have just never been able to compete in the upper echelon. There is a real chance to do that this year, especially with these new signings coming in. Tigers have only been here for 2 since they got promoted from the second division, and they don't want to suffer that dreaded second season syndrome. So brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen. The match of the round between Quakers Hill Tigers and Riverstone Schofields Soccer Club is a contest between 2 teams who right now are competing for different things, yes, but if they can both turn around their coming off a win tagline into some legitimately good form, anything is possible for the rest of this season on. My name is Mark DePoli. This is the BDSFA Laing Simmons Blacktown Men's Premier League 1 Match of the Round live at 7 p.m. from your screens tonight, Facebook and YouTube. I'm reminded to minimise your screen and please press a like button to let us know that you're enjoying what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and most of all, what you're experiencing on the whole. After a 2-2 draw in reserve grade, things have been pretty heated between these 2 teams. There were plenty of chances to win the game at either end as I was watching along while collecting my notes, and it is certainly destined to at least be a contest with goals. Very rarely have either of these 2 teams kept clean sheets heading into any of their match weeks in both first or reserve grade, meaning that we are certainly almost backed a punter's chance and a half to get some goals and some action tonight. Of course, this is a famed ground on 2 very separate occasions for both of these clubs. Tigers tasted a grand final victory in reserve and first grade here just 2 years ago in 2023. And of course, River completed one of the great comebacks of all time when they were down 3-0 to Quakers Hill Juniors and brought it back to win 4-3 in one of the most momentous occasions in BDSFA Match of the Round history. So, let's go through the lineups as we're about to tick over to 7 o'clock. I think the game might be slightly delayed a couple of minutes, but thank you so much for joining us here early. A reminder to please leave a like on our streams, of course, and I'll take you through the lineups in a couple of moments. I want to wait until at least the players are in the tunnel. You'll have to deal with this droning voice for a little bit longer. So in the meantime, I think what we should do is we should tell you what's happened around the grounds. So first and foremost, and most importantly, between first and third place, Marion versus Pons. Drum roll, please. 0-0. Interestingly, tomorrow, Doonside will play and they'll have a chance, if my math is correct in my head, at least from my last glance at the table, will be able to equal Marion on points. So let's go through some results. In the PL2, St. Pat's versus Rangers, Town Rangers that is, reserve grade Rangers went up 5-0 in first grade, a big result as Rangers trying to cling on to their top spot, or at least actually get it back off Newbury now. First grade Rangers went up 1-0. That was a brilliant game there. Some other results from around the gaff. Apparently Parkley have put 7 to Glenwood's 1. Creek and Polonia now into the first division, 0-0 between them. Not a real helpful result for either of those two teams. Newbury, who are top of the PL2 and top of the PL2 Club Championship as well, has picked up a 3-2 win over Prospect in first grade. That's huge there. And those are all the results I can tell you about because there's some happening tomorrow as well on Sunday. That includes, of course, Doonside playing Quakers Hill Juniors. That's a big, big, big game there. All right, I see some players in the tunnel, some referees too. By the way, all referees today. The very, very capable Jason McManus out in the middle. Thomas Roos Davis will be on one sideline, and Brendan O'Shea, who just turned 17 and was the most capped junior referee of 2024, will be on the other sideline. So, I think it's time to go through some lineups indeed. We will begin with the Quakers Hill Tigers, who have had a bit of a change in their system and style and mentality. Hence why they won their first game last week 4-0. So, let's go through that lineup now. Ben Marsh returns to make his first match of the round starting appearance since he started in the grand final win, of course, over Oakville, before they were, of course, promoted into the first division. Welcome back to Benny Marsh, who's had to battle back from a horrid knee injury that kept him out for so much of last season. It's a first start for former Hills representative Charles Portelli, the bodybuilder himself, the Maltese brute they may call him. He'll be either in the 12 or the 17 jersey, yet to be confirmed. Braden Chapman keeps his spot. In fact, it's the exact same lineup on paper as the 4-0 win over Workers produced as well. Braden Chapman keeps his spot as well in the 24 jersey, next to Rob Deeth, who starts alongside Steve Deeth. Steve in the centre midfield, by the way. Rob Deeth in the 12, Steve Deeth in the number 5. Scotty Jackson, of course, new to the club this year, but with the armband around his bicep, begins in the number 2 jersey to round out the 4-man defence. Not a 5-man defence anymore, no more anchors around here. A 4-man defence. Aaron Blacker is one of 2 centre defensive midfielders in this team and in this game to be wearing the number 6 jersey and to have the name Aaron. Aaron Thomas is playing for Riverstone. Aaron Blacker is playing for Quakers Hill Tigers. Ahead of Aaron is, of course, Steve Deeth, as I mentioned, and Riley Salkeld in the 41 jersey, who scored in the 21's grand final once. Jackson Fanning, formerly of Ponds, with 2 match of the round goals to his name, split by 4 years, by the way. He's a guy who pops up every now and then. He wears a 21 jersey. He's their equal top goal scorer this year with 3 goals, and he starts as the number 10, so I've been told. Now, Jason Grimer has gone from being the left-sided centre-back in a back 5 to being the starting striker, and he was the man who scored the winning goal last week against Workers, that being the first of 4. Of course, Workers weren't able to score any, so the first goal was the winning goal. He's in the number 40 jersey as well. And it's a return for a grand final hero himself, Kieran Patrick O'Hanlon. Has had a great year, and a great couple of years, actually, in the football world. He scored that hat-trick in the grand final. He got engaged back in January when he was in Japan with his lovely partner, and now he's here to do his first match of the round start since that grand final, by the way. So let's look at this new-look Riverstone side. In goal remains Leroy D'Souza, formerly of NPL Rydalmere Youth, by the way. It's also a back 4. Luca Bonani keeps his spot and has been so solid at right back all year. Jaden Snowden jumps up and, of course, is formerly of Tigers, but jumps up from reserve grade to play in the heart of the defence, next to brand new signing and the very tall 6'3" Nick Manzos, the older brother of left back Chris Manzos, who debuted on the podcast this week. It's the second CDM with the first name Aaron. Aaron Thomas has moved out of centre back to push into the 6th spot. Gurgis Abdullah, of course, keeps his spot. He's one of the best players in the comp, if you ask me. And Daniel Salinas is preferred as the out-and-out number 10 today. Solomon Lardo, who scored in the game against Tigers when they beat them 5-2 in round 1 of the season, had to drop out due to an ankle injury, as he announced in the podcast. The man who scored the one and only goal in Wednesday night's win over Eastern Creek, Lorenzo Rodriguez, begins the number 7 jersey, came off the bench in the last match of the round, and it's 2 brand new boys in the 57 jersey, Victor and Yimba, who has come here after nursing a knee injury, has relations with Jeff through the African Cup, by the way, when they both represented Togo back in the year, and he's also got some Parramatta FC and Rydalmere experience, and through the middle is the big man himself, 6'6", with an Argentine dad and Spanish 3rd division experience in his boots. 43 jersey, Cameron Siska. So, those are the 2 lineups. It's a 4-1-2-1-2 versus a 4-3-3 with a defensive midfielder and 2 attacking midfielders. That's how it goes. That's how it's going to look. And let's see what this match of the round has in store for us. Rivo versus Quakers Hill Tigers. Quakers Hill Tigers trying to rig themselves off the bottom of the table, and with Colonia getting the draw, you know what, they could just about do it. 3 points here tonight will take them off the bottom of the table for the first time this entire season, because from round one they were down on goal difference too, being on -3. Rivo are just a couple of points outside of the top 4 if results go their way, or have gone their way today as well. Let's see what this game gives us as Charles Portelli sends it long. Jason Green, a perfectly put ball, and as D'Souza claimed that one out of the sky, the offside flag alleviated any real pressure on the team. And Rivo, you could say they survived an early scare, but realistically there was no scare because of the offside flag. So Mansos to Mansos. It's another brother partnership here. We have brothers on both sides, except the one playing in Quakers Hill Tigers jerseys are twins, of course. This is Braden Chapman, whose father is a very well-established referee now at senior level. But Braden himself played in the grand final last year with the 21s against Marion, which, yes, they may have lost, but he saved a penalty as an auxiliary goalkeeper. Scotty Jackson was unable to get to that one first. Fox Sports' finest, beaten to it by the touchline there. Reminder as well to leave your live chats as we react to them. And here comes Jason Grimer. Scored the winner last week. Squares it to Kieran O'Hanlon, who swung and missed and fell on his backside. A bit hilariously in the process to Riley Salkeld. Back out here to Aaron Blacker, so composed at the 6. Finds his captain, Scotty Jackson. A future captain to the current one. The left back has lost out there. Across comes Deeth. And he snaps him up quickly. Those Deeth boys, no nonsense as you like. Good start to the game. Looking like Quakers Hill Tigers are using the spring in their step off of their win last week over Workers. Already a ton of you tuning in here tonight. Thank you so much to those who have committed themselves. Here's Siska. First touch on the match of the round for the 6'6", should-be NBA player. Was this man onside here? It's a shot from distance. Benny Marsh was never going to be troubled by Victor Anyimba's strike. So I announced that Anyimba might be starting off to the left. Looks like he's beginning off to the right with Lorenzo Rodriguez in the 7 jersey in the orange/red boots coming here to this near side left-hand side touchline. .200 seconds into this one. Been a pretty fast start. A shot at either end. One of them was, of course, alleviated by the offside flag. Look at the size of this big man up top. But I've been told he's not a classic big man striker. No foul there, says McManus. Ball into Siska. Gives it back to Salinas. Running in behind is the big man. But it was picked up by another equally big man in Benny Marsh, the goalkeeper. And he sends that long. Great to see Benny Marsh back in between the sticks. Scotty Jackson wins it out of the sky. That will be easily picked out there by Leroy D'Souza. Actually works as a goalkeeping coach for the young'uns at his club, Riverstone. He's also a PT in his downtime, super fit. No wonder he got to that ball first. Swing and a miss. Doing a little bit too much there. I believe that was Jackson Fanning, his first real major contribution in a Tigers jersey on camera. Has been a really, really good signing. For him, an impact player off the bench for so long at Ponds, decided to take up the option of being a starter, a proper starter here at Tigers, and provide a level head. He's 31 this year. Forgive me, he's 30 this year, just turned 30 and missed the last match of the round, actually, hence why he was away for that one. But he's back here as a man entering decade number 3 of his life. But he's been on song this season, really reminding everyone why he is a Cottam Cup winner, a one-time BSFA Grand Final winner. Switch out wide by Nick Matzos, and it was given away there by Daniel Salinas in that 14 jersey. It was a bit silly there. I don't think he was quite ready or expecting that ball. Scott Jackson takes a quick throw in. Trying to bounce it there with Deeth. Hits the deck hard as Jason Grimer. No fear in that kid. Been told that apparently Pons was the better of the two teams between themselves and Marion, limited to very minimal shots in the second half. Were the current table toppers, or perhaps I should rejig that to say table toppers for at least the time being. Toonside could really put a dent and a spanner in those works. Scotty Jackson to be the set piece deliveroo here. Well, we know he's good at golf. Can he slice this one in? Really good ball! And the header ended up being a clearance by someone in a red jersey. I thought from my angle it was headed towards goal. The power of perspective there. Nicely stuffed out there by Robbie Deeth, but it's hit the referee and they're going to have to bring it back here. Aaron Blacker just goes over to play peacekeeper. In fact, this goes here to Charles Portelli. Was really welcomed on the podcast this week, and thank you all who are watching tonight for showing it love. As well for the review podcast that came out last week. Thank you to those who've helped us crack 1,000 views now for the 6th ever podcast. Jason Greimer, that's brilliant! Was a little bit selfish there. Should have tried to find his strike partner in Kieran O'Hanlon. Well, I had no idea that Jason Greimer was full of the tricks. Chris Mantsos goes back to his older brother. Nick Mantsos cuts back past his oppressor, that being Greimer, now hoofs it forward, asking a lot here of Lorenzo Rodriguez, but he scored the winner on Wednesday night. So also the question becomes, how will these Rivo boys, who are in their sort of mid to late 20s on the whole, recover against a team who are, I guess on average, a lot younger? Only a couple of days to back it up. No training since then, so a trainless week, if you like. Really well done there off the chest/shoulder there of Chris Mantsos. Gurgis Abdallah, lovely work to square it out wide to Luca Bonani. That's a really lovely switch of play from right fullback to left wing. Ball looking in behind for Siska, didn't quite happen. Portelli was quick to react there. Turning was Kieran Patrick O'Hanlon. Bouncing back to the halfway line to find Blacker. And that was a little fortuitous, that pass, but it's worked out well to find Scotty Jackson, who feeds that in behind for O'Hanlon. And it's been snuffed out well, I think, by Mantsos, who's been involved a couple of times. Jaden Snowden's been a little bit quieter, the 24-year-old. Mantsos, this new signing in the heart of the defence. Jackson Laurie away today, of course. Ball towards the back stick. Running in like a steam train was Scotty Jackson, but D'Souza dealt with it well. So it almost seems to me that Scott Jackson and Stevie Deeth are interchangeable as sort of a left-sided midfielder and left back. It's very interesting. Scotty's going forward heaps more than Steve Deeth, although Steve Deeth did score the second goal, I do believe, last week in the 4-0 win over Workers. Just under 10 minutes into this one. It's been Tigers with the major ascendancy in this game, and Scott Jackson will have a chance to whip in this ball off his wonderful left boot. Never really had the chances to do set pieces when he was in a Pond jersey. Lovely flat ball in, it's looped across the back. There is Portelli, it should be turned home! It is! It's haphazard, but they'll take it! And Tigers are clawing themselves off the foot of the table with the ability to make their own luck. And maybe this is what they were talking about in midweek on the podcast. Just trying, building that belief, and eventually things will fall your way. Well, with 10 minutes of out-and-out pressure on this Rivo back line, it's paid dividends. They take the lead. And Rivo have just not switched on early here. 1-0. And perhaps the turnaround of the Tigers is happening in front of our eyes. It's Jackson Fanning, becomes Tigers' outright top goal scorer with his 4th of the season, his 3rd ever match of the round goal. doesn't really appear many times in the match of the round despite being available for most of the season. At times unused sub at Pons. Straight into a Tigers jersey and straight onto the score sheet. Jackson Fanning. Typical. One of the most potent match of the round goal scorers. Now you have to say, how many people have 4 to their name? Forward they come again through Braden Chapman. Easy for D'Souza. Ball delivered in, missed at the front post. Steered back in by Portelli, who claimed a match of the round assist. And Jackson Fanning with the Alan Shearer-esque celebration. Tiger Town is upon us. There's a real concern here, though. For one of the Deeth boys, I do believe. Well, I told you there'd be goals. I thought Riverstone would be able to deal with that one better. Like I talked to you about midweek and the fatigue that could bite them, but that is just a shonky clearance and they're not marking up on Fanning tight enough. You cannot be conceding goals like that if you want to be making it into the finals. And they know that. They don't need to be told that. They know that full well. Those are not the mistakes you want to make. And Yimba, Siska, Lorenzo Rodriguez, heck, even Daniel Salinas, the front 4, that includes a number 10, have barely touched the ball. And they haven't really led much of a press either. And as a result, this much more fluid, much more attack-minded Tigers team look the better of the two. That's Rob Deeth there. His first ever PL1 match of the round start. Grimer in strong. Beautiful there by the team. And he's hurt, I think, Jaden Snowden as well. Came in like a fearless rocket. Look at this. Pass back to Snowden. Loose touch. Bang. Down he went. Down he stayed too. Now the physio, that being Jeff Dunn, called on. Jeff, of course, is the coach. Back to his feet, but off to the sideline, temporarily perhaps. They were forced, in their first match of the round, forced into an earlier change as well, where Solomon Lardo had to come off. Now they're down to 10 men for the time being. That's a pot shot from distance that's going to cause no harm. Jets the one who have the bye in PL2 this weekend, which must be frustrating because a lot of the teams that are around them will be able to pull ahead, will have pulled ahead on points. First place, second place have now, and yes, they were third place heading into this round, but it must be frustrating when you can't compete. Lumped forward and won by Aaron Blacker. There is Jackson Fanning, the man that separates these two teams. Riley Salkeld. Lorenzo Rodriguez trying to track him. They're back to 11 men on the pitch. Jaden Snowden is back. Kieran O'Hanlon's bossing his way into the box. Manzos is saying, I was held. Ball delivered in by Charles Portelli, quite high and looping. Grimer is there. Deef. I believe that to be Steve goes back. That's an interesting ball there by Scotty Jackson. Interesting that he was able to get it under control while it was bouncing on this good old pitch, but easy for Leroy in goal to claim, and he sends it out wide with some nice technique there, actually. Matty Ryan-esque kick out of the hands. Gurgis Abdullah. This is better. Little push there on Lorenzo Rodriguez. Able to retain possession straight into the left leg of the referee again. Well, do Riverstone want to use this to cross the halfway line for the first time in about 16 or so minutes? Bonani. Riverstone can't touch the ball. Tigers all over them. Lovely. Riley Salkeld out wide. This goes. Charles Portelli, been in reserve and first grade throughout the year, fluctuated between the two. Just a goal kick for D'Souza to take. A lot of oomph behind that one. Siska beaten to it by Scott Jackson. Two men well over 6 foot there. River just a complete 6s and 7s right now. This is abysmal. This is an abysmal start to the game for them. They cannot string any passes together. And I would say Jeff Bogdan, the coach, is tearing his head out, but he's bald. Got a beard, to be fair. Gurgis Abdullah, someone who can actually hold the ball. An example of that being showed right here. Don't want to lose it there, though. Sends this out wide to Luca Bonani. 27-year-old comes forward to find Lorenzo Rodriguez. We have not seen Anyimba touch the ball since the first seconds of the game. Chance here brewing. Cameron Siska. A reminder, played in the third tier of Spanish football. Oh, lovely ball in behind. Abdullah came forward, flag stayed down, and he just scuffed a shot completely easily into the hands of Benny Marsh. And Tigers were torn apart defensively there, and all it took was one lapse, and Rivo should have been level. They're not, though. Jackson wins that out of the sky as the Tigers try and counter. O'Hanlon wanted to see this guy back in the starting lineup personally for a while. Oh, Abdullah, that's a serious chance. Portelli goes for the cross. Here comes Daniel Salinas. Could probably start for his father's native Chile at this point. Missed out on World Cup qualification. The third instance in a row. Lorenzo Rodriguez. Lovely pass. Scott Jackson. Chance brewing here as they cross the halfway line. Perhaps a professional foul would be the right option there, but Rodriguez forgot about the ball. Now, Blacker will reset back to Braden Chapman. Two kids combining for Tigers. Another one formerly of Pons is Braden Chapman, and this one's Charles Portelli. Considered this the greatest club culture in his near 30 years of playing association soccer. Big fan of the Tigers. Good friends as well with Doonside's Tony Gallaini as well. Keen to see those two come up against each other sometime later this season. Right, finally, Victor Anyimba, who might be their best player, at least on paper. They finally got him the ball up against Portelli, doing his best to dance past the 33-year-old fullback. And he's done well. Anyimba into the box, and then Portelli came back and won it. That was well done. Taryn Rockall, Tigers coach, must be delighted with most of what she's seeing right now. Riverstone Schofields were at one point top of reserve grade. Tigers were at one point bottom of it as well. To have notch a 2-all draw and to be in the lead here in first grade now. This has been a pretty good day for them thus far. Gurgis Abdullah towards the front post. In-swinger was cleared back to the corner kick taker himself. Back after an ACL tear, straight into the hands of Benjamin Marsh. Sends this out wide to Scott Jackson, formerly of Marion, formerly of Pons, formerly of Doonside. Grimer with a chance. Grimer running at goal. A chance maybe to go to his left. He goes to his right instead. Barreled into the defender. Goes down in a half. Probably should have played it to the man running into his left. And that was a lack of experience shown there. I think in the last 5 minutes or so, Riverstone have at least not been defending in their own defensive third. It's been a bit more of a middle third game in the last 5, but it's nothing to be super proud of just yet. Scotty Jackson up the line to find O'Hanlon, who's just everywhere, and that's not the greatest 1-2 of all time. 20 minutes into this one, everything in favour of the Quakers Hill Tigers, and most importantly, the scoreboard too. That was a bit of a foul throw. Ooh, Scott Jackson floors his man, but legally so, says Jason McManus. Back in play, Aaron Thomas barely seen the man with such a good left foot on the ball. And Nimba. Portelli strong, free kick. Tigers disdained with that decision. This is a real chance for Rivo to deliver something in. Shout out to David Mann, by the way. Trey Barton, someone in our Facebook live chat that he had a barnstormer of a game. Good on you, David. Here's your flowers. Salinas floats it in. Cleared away. Aaron Thomas. Touch took him away from the ball. Picked up here by the Tigers, who could burst away. Here's the man who scored the only goal of the game, Jackson Fanning. Goals in the match of the round for Pons and now for Tigers. Here is Kieran O'Hanlon. Ooh, diving in. Both players there. Tigers ball it'll be. What a great 50-50 that was to watch. Riverstone desperate for a game changer. Tigers looking like a proper team. The way that they've changed in the last 3 weeks since their last match of the round performance, it is night and day. Night and day. They're also missing Elvis Enchi, who hurt his ankle 2 weeks ago. Hard pressing superstar with a Ghanaian background. One of many brilliant Ghanaians playing the Blacktown Premier League. Ball in towards the back stick. Grimer was rising. And Grimer sent it out for a goal kick. Sent forward, a bit directionless there, and Chapman wins it, but that's good footwork by Salinas. Chance here, Siska. It's a foot race. It'll be won by the ball and favoured by Benny Marsh. Well, Rivo have just not come to the party yet. Coach Jeff Bogdan says that no matter what, whether it was a back four or a back five, they'd be able to deal with it. They were confident in their ability to deal with it. They're not. That's a foul. That's a yellow card, in my opinion. Not given. Not even a foul at all. I thought that was a pretty clear shoulder into the back. But hey, I'm not that close to the action, whereas Jason McManus is. Just a throw-in it'll be. Scotty Jackson facing a two-man wall. Desired set piece taker from at least the left-hand side. Ball delivered in. Cleared away only as far as Sal Kelder. Now from distance. Good save to Souza. Good hands. Bye-bye. Out of his hands now. Won by Chapman. O'Hanlon shields it beautifully well. Chapman continues his run. His shirt pull there. Mansos dealing with it for the time being. That's good hustle there by Braden Chapman. That was just one of those annoying flea moments, like kind of brilliant pressing where you just don't stop. Robertson versus Man City type of thing. Comment coming in from the Pons and Marion crowd saying that on another day, one of their 30 chances could have led to a goal. And in fact, his opinion is that 6 or 7 should have been an appropriate score and that he's never seen Marion outplayed like that. So I quote, Tim Thomas, thank you for your contribution. That is really interesting coming out of the Marion and Pons camp. Here is Jackson Fanning, formerly of the latter. Ball sifted in behind. Grimer chasing. O'Hanlon in support. Mansos doing the dirty defensive work. It's been shielded out for a corner. Nice work there by Grimer. He now is the short option. He's got some time. He delivers it in. Punched away, struck a goal, punched away, struck a goal, off of a head, into the box again, off the line, headed, cleared, someone's down, now 2 are down. I think it was a head clash or at least a ball to the head, so I can't believe play's still going on. And as Rivo try and counter, now we finally can give some attention to the man who just copped one right in the schnoz. Oh man, it is absolutely comical. I believe it's Aaron Blacker, or it's one of the Deef boys, has just absolutely tried to pummel it at goal. And in doing so, it's come off of a defender and smacked him in the head. I can tell you right now, considering it's around 10 degrees here in Rudy Hill, that would have hurt. Luckily, he's all right. Ball's back in play. Easy for Scotty Jackson. Steve Deeth looking to come back on, making sure he's got all of his teeth, and he is back on. But he came on from the touchline, and River are incensed by that. Yellow card's been given to Aaron Thomas for dissent towards the referee. Obviously said, how have you not missed that? Well, how have you missed that? And yeah, fair enough, because he's come off because of an injury. He's then Josh Morris versus Greg Inglis his way back onto the pitch and made a pretty crucial tackle. And in the gist of all of that, Tigers have ended up with the ball. It's all happening here. Oh, what a moment. Wish we had live replays here. Try and let them know to implement it next year. Well, here comes Scott Jackson again. His umpteenth free kick of this opening stanza. Deep ball. Could find its way in. It's gone all the way out. Touch off of who? Of no one, it seems. Lorenzo Rodriguez trying to beat Scotty Jackson. many people complete. Nicely done there by Sal Keld, another one of the pretty good 21s boys that have come through, living dangerously. Chapman, ball given away. Mansos will keep it in. Chris, that is. Goes back to Nick Mansos. Thomas, who's now on a yellow card for the rest of the game. Come here to Jason Grimer. Didn't quite steer his foot around the ball like he wanted to there. That's another moment where I think if he'd just taken a touch inside or looked at his other options, it might have been better suited to him. It's such a poor quality game at times, at least for PL1 standards. Both teams struggling to sort of put any real strings of passing together. It's Tigers who are doing it more often, if that, but on cue, give it away. Aaron Thomas, I guess, good defending. O'Hanlon sliding in like the dog he is. Well done there by Gurgis Abdullah. Not really a midfield general, more of a metronome, if you like. The Mitch McLennan replacement. Aaron Blacker does well. Lovely pass fed into his brother Deeth from Deeth. Good footwork there by Lorenzo Rodriguez. Only his first couple of games back since a huge long stint out of playing the game, of course. No Nick George tonight for River, and I think they're feeling the pinch of that. The diminutive number 10 who wears the number 10, many argue, is their best player. And they are certainly missing him right now. Chance for Rivo. Ball towards the back stick. Portelli was brave. Gurgis Abdullah. Rivo have an unlikely chance. Cleared away by Scotty Jackson. Not really known as an aerial team this season, at least. And back in the day where they had Joel Craig, they most certainly were as their number 9, but he's long gone, the one-time goal of the week winner. Hence unlikely goal-scoring route, although with 6'6" Siska. Jackson will launch this throw. One in the sky by Jason Grimer. Well, from one foul throw into potentially another. Either way, River have got the ball still here. Yep, foul there, little nudge there by Gurgis Abdullah. As little is all it takes. Jackson will send this up into the night sky. Long it goes. Grimer was rising. Bonani rose higher, I should say. Chance here for Tigers. With Rivo with every man bar one behind the ball. Lovely passing, lovely triangles, ball sent out wide. Football here at Blacktown Football Park. Portelli. Ball cross. Last 10 minutes before the halftime whistle is called. I would imagine maybe 1 or 2 minutes added on. Just launched forward by Snowden. This is the only route they've really had. This is Cameron Siska. Siska still scored 25 goals and notched 10 assists last year in the X-League of Granville. That's some nice interplay here. And there was a chance to deliver it in behind. Didn't quite happen, and away come the Tigers. And there's lots of numbers forward in red. And there's now lots of numbers coming forward in orange. There's a chance to feed that in behind. Not taken. O'Hanlon, a good facilitator himself, slows it down. Okay, now River have recovered a little bit. There's some numbers behind the ball. Here is O'Hanlon. Portelli. O'Hanlon. He's going to be the one who dictates how this attack, at least, will approach the Riverstone goal. Tigers, with every pass, encroaching closer and closer to this Rivo goal. That's more of a hoof into the box, cleared away by Mansos. That's Portelli. That's Portelli, and that's over the bar. Played short and square to the left of Leroy D'Souza. Mansos. That's a poor pass. Aaron Thomas picked up there by O'Hanlon, who I just admire so much for his creativity. Grimer still trying, goes down. Was he pulled? Ooh, just outside the 18-yard box. The fleet-footed work of Jason Grimer, who I thought was a centre-back. Turns out he's not an auxiliary striker. He's a real welcome and cultured one. Has won a free kick on the edge of the box. And this is a real chance. For there are only a couple of minutes left in this first half for things to change. And if they change to read 2-0 to the Tigers, I would suggest the day is done. And the game is won. Scotty Jackson! Well, the desired designated free kick taker is proving his worth. That one coming close. No cigar. Rivo, I think, need to get into half-time, look to their bench and restart this game, but they cannot afford to go into the shed down by 2 because they will not recover it. I know that Rivo are the ultimate comeback kings, and I should never make such definitive black and white statements, but Tigers look really strong out here. Deeth beat Abdullah to it, then flung his body into the action. Portelli there now. Chapman, poor pass. Siska should be able to use that frame to kick the ball. Oh, there was a chance to square it to his strike partner, and they've lost that chance. Grimer might feel a bit upset that he didn't get the ball. River are building something here through Salinas, but he's bustled off the ball. That's lovely. Tigers have a chance now to come forward. Past the halfway line, right in the centre channel is O'Hanlon. Out wide here is the ever-brilliant Charles Portelli. Put back into the mixer, headed towards goal. Grimer is there! A block, an expletive. In the end, just a corner. Tigers are building towards the second goal here. Portelli bop on forward from right fullback to take this one. 5 to go in the half, not including stoppages. Flat ball, back spin. Headed down and struck and over. Chance goes begging, and you know what? If Tigers don't win this game, it's getting to the point where the reason will be is because they will rue these missed chances in this first half. It's fair to say that they have been the dominant team in this one. Salinas flicking it to absolutely no one in a similar jersey. Although, by hook or by crook, Siska on his match of the round debut, they've been under the pump and it's gone over the bar. A chance goes begging, as good as any chance created in the whole game, and they fluffed it. What a chance for Siska. Left Australia at 18 to move to Spain. Ended up impressing scouts and signing in the third tier for Figueras. This is a chance for him now, the former Figueras man, to assert himself in the match of the round. Scored a brilliant free kick that was caught on capture. Would have won goal of the week if the competition was running at the points, but scored it for reserve grade in round 1 against Tigers, by the way. That ball's delivered in, and Yimba at the back stick, who's touched it towards himself, goes down. Absolutely no penalty there. Don't even try and claim that. That is farcical. But that's your only route back into the game. Easily read. Didn't quite find Grimer. Been impressed by Mansos all game. Gurgis Abdullah. Past Fanning. Lovely ball. Oh, snuffed out by Sal Keld. Crucial touch. And now forward he comes. Aaron Thomas, that was good work though. And now Rivo have a bit of a spring in their step. Siska not making the run in behind. And Nyimba hugging the touchline. Past Portelli and Nyimba. Victor and Nyimba took a touch off of a defender with an orange jersey on his back. And it's been claimed by Benjamin Marsh. 3 minutes to go in a first half that is crescendoing towards half time. Bounce under control now by Fanning and then taken off him by Bonani. Into the midriff there of one of the Tigers boys, and out it goes for just a Rivo throw. Taken quickly. Taken too quickly. Back in play, under control by the Gunners. Unable to pull the trigger yet in this game. This is better though. Abdullah. Finally they're finding their feet. Ooh, too soon. So taken quickly into the red seats on the far side. 2 minutes to go in this first half. Scott Jackson, his free kick led to the sole goal in this game. Giant throw in. A missed touch might work out for them though into the box. Massive chance this one! Oh! A dive and a miss. Heat not off the Gunners just yet. Ball back in by Portelli, cleared away Mansos. On the edge of the box here is Blacker, has 1 goal to his name this year. Delivered again, that's overhit by Portelli and out it goes on the full. Chances are coming and they're being missed in orange. And considering that River were able to form one that found Siska, and how many times are they going to be able to get away with River's counters, which are proving their best avenue for getting forward. Must find a second goal to take the heat off a little bit. Well won there out of the sky. Think by Blacker. O'Hanlon is there. Fanning is there too. Sends Sal Keld on his merry way towards goal. Ooh, took a little touch off his wrong foot, I think, as he hit that at goal. Frustrated with himself. Shouldn't be. These things happen. away that one goes. And again won by Blacker. So 4 here to Gurgis Abdullah. And Nimba is quick. Still returning to his full match sharpness after the knee injury, but he's past Portelli. Jeez, he's quick! Across the face of goal! And cleared by Scott Jackson. Brilliant defensive work there. Wow. And just like that, Riverstone can really turn on the style, can't they? Cleared away by Chapman. Bonani. Nice flick there. And sent away by Deeth. This is a real chance. That should be a yellow card in my opinion. And then if that's not a yellow card for the challenge, well that has to be for the kick away, surely. Crazy. We're into borrowed time, by the way, for those who haven't clocked it. Almost into the second minute of it, too. Perhaps Tigers, and perhaps the final chance of the first half, a goal here would really, really take the game away from Rivo. Poor ball. Bit too shallow. Sal Kell taking off him. Falls back here to the free kick taker, Grimer, who just hoofs it back in towards some tall men. Away by Chris Mantsos. There is Steve Deeth. That's now Braden Chapman. Portelli. As Blacker. Away by Abdullah. Back towards Aaron Blacker, though. Lovely. I should have turned towards goal there. Poor by Fanning. Or otherwise, good first half for the 30-year-old. Well, still we go on into the third minute of added on time. Those injury stoppages, the reason, I would imagine, as to why we're still playing on now. Hanlon was in strong, as he always is. Siska. Cameron Siska. Not had his finest hour here. To be fair, he has been a little bit injured. He tore his quad, did the 6'6" striker, and has been nursing it back to full fitness this year. He has picked up 3 goals in 2025. Mixed through reserves, though. Still we go on. Tigers throw, approaching the 4th minute of added on time. Giant throw in there, I imagine, I think by Scott Jackson. Cleared away by Abdullah, brilliantly over his head. Chapman missed it, but it came off his chest. There is Jason Grimer, trying to wiggle his way into a shooting angle. Still, he hustles his way. Was he scythed down? He was. But only amounting to the half-time whistle. And might there have been a free kick? Well, yes, there was, but not going to be taken in a time in this first half. So that brings an end to a very interesting first half, a game that was broken open quickly as Charles Portelli latched onto a loose ball delivered by Scott Jackson and found, of course, Jackson Fanning to turn in his 3rd ever match of the round goal, his 4th of the season, and the one that, at least on the live ladder, puts Tigers out of last place and puts Polonia right back there. So, how will the second half pan out? I think Rivo must look to their bench, or must look to at least some sort of massive change in their system with this current 11, because right now they're being run ragged, and yes, they're creating chances on the counter, but that's not the style of play that they want to have. And yes, they're missing players, but that's no excuse to not come at least prepared for your best with what you have, and you do have some good quality. Let's see what Jeff Bogdan is made of. This is how he can establish himself as one of the good coaches in this league. But either way, 1-0 courtesy of Jackson Fanning, and we'll see you in the second half. coach and also the father of co-captain Aaron Blacker, Michael Blacker. Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining us at late notice. Just introduce yourself quickly to the people who are watching along. How long have you been involved in coaching, and when was your stint around the Tigers grounds?
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. Michael Blacker, been with the Tigers for a long while, a life member, started coaching in 2007 and coached for 14 consecutive years. Started out in under fives with my eldest son Ryan, and coached my youngest son Aaron for a long period of time as well. And he played with me often 2 years up, and he's always played up and always had a old head on young shoulders.
He's blossomed into a perfectly good number 6, and he's still in his young 20s. He's going to develop even further, and this first grade experience will help him. Now, specifically on that first half, he was pretty pivotal, but it was a nicely formed goal. They've had the dominance in possession and territory as well. What's your sort of picking apart of that first half?
I think a couple of tweaks they've made to the team. They're playing a 5-back. And it didn't really suit Riley and Aaron's ability to get on the ball and actually play. And so moving a couple of senior players, Robbie Deeth at fullback, no-nonsense defender, and Widgie's challenges to get the ball forward. And it's really suited Riley and Aaron's ability to pass the ball, and even Stevie Deeth, his brother, in the middle of the park. Just Widgie's challenges. And I think the tweaks up top have really just opened up the play for him and made ability for him to get on the ball and get in really nice pockets and then be able to play. So, I think the team last week played brilliantly, and I think they've started off again well today. Like, they've had the better of the match. Just seem to be able to hold the ball a bit more. Come on, Az. Don't turn it over there. Middle third turnovers, kill.
And here come Riverstone on the prowl now as they try and work their way back into this game. Michael, I will let you go back and watching it without having to worry about keeping yourself in check on the live stream. Thank you so much. I'm sure the viewers will be appreciative of your first introduction, or at least first in a while, and thank you for your time.
Cheers, thank you.
It was brilliant, my friend. Enjoy the second half. And second half here has in fact kicked off. It's been Tigers who have restarted from the front, or on the front foot, perhaps you might say. Thank you very much to Michael Black. I'm not sure if he'll watch this back, but the way he unpacked the transition in recent weeks from a back 5 to a back 4 was very, very interesting. It's nice to hear it actually come from the words, from the mouth, I should say, of a Tigers representative, a life member who's just joined us here. That's a big, big honour on the podcast tonight. So leave a like if you're appreciative of Michael Black's time. And a big thank you to him for quickly getting involved. I'm loving these post-halftime break interviews that we're doing this season. If you like them too, reminder, just let us know in the comments or leave a like. Of course, Jason Grimer, pot shot blocked before it had any momentum building behind it. Gertz that's a nice pass. Siska, here is Lorenzo Rodriguez, and there is Robbie Deeth. Better by Aaron Thomas, retains position well. Back this goes to D'Souza. Out of his feet, Jaden Snowden, the former Tiger, of course. Grimer in strong. Chance here, send it forward quickly. A little bit wayward from goal. Can Fanning steer it back into an attacking area? Cleared away before Portelli got in there. Tigers have kept their finger on the pulse. Super important for them to do that in this second half. Scotty Jackson has been pivotal in all they've done going forward so far in this match. Siska, that's better use of the 6'6" frame. Better by Riverstone. The Gunners trying to cock the gun at the moment. Kept it, Mantzos. Being closed down. Better, bustling forward. Good bit of pace there. Sliding challenge was neat by Chapman. Lovely interplay. Triangles being formed in the centre of the park around an array of bodies in orange. But they've just about defended it well, and he's been one of the best players in the match, O'Hanlon. Grimer, turning. Options left and right. Play it quickly, son. Play it quickly, son. Taken off him. One back, fortuitously. Fanning out wide to his long-time teammate, Scotty Jackson. Flicked behind O'Hanlon. Towards Fanning. Needs to turn towards goal. Handball was the claim in red. Back here to Scotty Jackson. Have a hit, son! Blocked by the behind of Bonani. Just the corner. And you really, really do feel like a second Tigers goal would take this right out of the range of the Gunners. Deep ball from the corner. Grimer is the one to recycle it, and he sends it dead for a goal kick. Told Ange Postecoglou is linked to Al Ahly, which I'm fairly certain is the club of Roberto Firmino. Anyway, back to the match of the round. Slightly more homely. Portelli clears it into the night sky. Hey, ref is the call. Out of the sky, into the head, and then a bit of pain. Daniel Salinas. Bit of commentary happening in our live chat today. Keep it friendly, people, that's all I ask. Nick Mansos is having a chat to Jason McManus. At the end of the day, it's going to be a drop ball. Oh, that's rough. That's poor. So right now, it's been a day where the head and the foot of the table, at least for the time being, has changed. There's Marion now on par with Doon, or on par if Doonside get the win tomorrow against Quakers Hill Juniors, which on paper they should. And Polonia will drop to the bottom. What impact on the club championship? What an impact on the club championship. 3 points would take Tigers from 4 to 7, and that is higher than Polonia's 6 could only manage a tie today. Workers drop out of the top 4 on goal difference. It is so, so close. Chapman, lucky that bounce found his right back, Portelli. Ooh, River have a chance. Past Chapman. And then the touch. Far too deep by Salinas. A reminder as well, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, hearing and experiencing as a whole, please do remember to leave a like on the stream. Whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, all it takes is a small minimization of your screen and a little tap on the big thumb pointing to the sky. Would thoroughly appreciate your showing appreciation. Aaron Thomas square pass into the centre of the park. That's better by Abdullah. Snuffed out there by Braden Chapman. Cleared towards Deef. Pumps it forward. Fanning. Chance. Chance. Chances aplenty. Here comes O'Hanlon. Scored a hat-trick in a grand final on this pitch. Ooh, and it was blocked off by a sliding Luca Bonani. Tigers still ringing the danger bells. Ball delivered towards the back stick. It'll sit in nicely for Scotty, the captain, Jackson. In he delivers towards the front post. No one attacking it. I have to say it's a poor ball in the end. Bye-bye. Sent away. Deep challenged with taking this one and sending it into the night sky. The most no-nonsense of no-nonsense defenders. Both the Deep boys. Just awaiting the ball to re-enter the field of play. Here is Bonani, whose sliding challenge to intercept O'Hanlon's pass just a moment ago proved critical. Nice, Matsos. Thomas can ride that challenge and send it in behind, but to no on rushes. Marsh plays it short. 10 minutes into this second half already. Won by Mansos. Thomas beaten to it. Tigers are a real chance here. Tigers are a real... Lovely touch by Fanning. Should be cleared by Thomas, it is. You can hear Taron Rockall just bellowing above the rest of the voices out there. As back it goes to Benjamin Marsh, who clears it away at the first time of asking. Bonani wins it off the top of his head. That would have hurt. Jackson was in strong on Lorenzo Rodriguez and be fouled. Smart to bring him down for a foul, I think, because here come Rivo. Across the face of goal. Cleared away by Chapman. This is better by Rivo, but can they maintain this territory? Oh, what are you doing? Miscommunication of the highest order and most embarrassing too. And the chance goes begging, the minimal chances that they've had. This will go long. This will go real long by Benny Marsh, I can promise you that. Look at that. That would be a great drop punt, let alone a off-the-ground goal kick. Thomas with his shirt being pulled, but he plays in number 10 for most of his life, and he can do that exceptionally well, which he does. Chris Matsos now in behind, and Nimba running, and Portelli shielding well. Brings an array of applause for his efforts. President of Melita Eagles, believe it or not. Our comments showing support for Riverstone, whose boys were represented, his club was represented by a couple of these Rivers boys in a five-a-side comp next door to the Wanderers once. Fanning turned into danger, unfortunately. That danger being Luca Bonani. Chance! Siska! Wide of the goal, needs to run infield. Cuts back. Can he deliver it? He squares it off. Just a goal kick. Settling in here around Blacktown Park. Not many braving the shorts right now. It is sweater weather. And still just the one goal that separates these two teams. It was scored so early by Jackson Fanning. Ooh, pushed off the ball there. Illegally. Lovely delivery by the former Park man. Manani has time and space to play that, but for playing the inventive balls. At least get the basics, the fundamentals right. Occasionally it's better in parts, in passages by River, who I know are missing some players today, but this team is still good enough on paper to do something. To be fair, it is still only 1-0. Tigers have been the better team. Siska, lead by Chapman. At least a foot between those two there. Chance for Tigers here. A real chance here. They've got the numerical advantage as Hanlon sends an absolute peach into the middle of the area. And now, from distance, Fanning. Chance goes over the bar. Quick, crisp counter-attack, mounting to nothing other than an ooh-ah moment. 2/3 mark of the game has been reached. First 2/3 of the game you'd have to give Orange's way. Lorenzo, nice work by Rodriguez. Even better there by Deef. Can Jackson keep it in? He does. 36 and still Evergreen. Looks to loop that towards Grimer. Oh, touch off of his knee like Messi versus Nigeria. And it's hit the base of the post. Was there a push on the box? There was! You can't pull a jersey in the box. And Tigers have a penalty. It was a pull, it was an appeal, and if that's going to Jaden Snowden, he might be off. Or was it Aaron Thomas, perhaps? If it was Aaron Thomas, he's off. The card goes back into the pocket, temporarily or permanently. And a River about to be down by 2 goals and down to 10 men. A card to be distributed? Question mark? I don't believe so. So who will take it? Jason Grimer scored the first winning goal of the 2025 season in first grade. He's just a kid. 16th year at the club. The boy steps up. The ultimate maturation in the match of the round for Jason Grimer. And Tigers have not just lifted themselves off the foot of the table, but they've made a really good case with their brilliant performance tonight to steer well clear of it as the season heads its 2 and second stanza. Perfectly dispatched penalty with the keeper sent the wrong way. It's another goal for Grimer this season. And the kid has stepped up big. A second goal in as many weeks for the sprightly teenager. A day for the Jays, Jackson Fanning, Jason Grimer. Tigers, wholly the better team today, are finally rewarded for all of their dominance. What a massive moment that could be for the confidence of the kid. Didn't know he was a striker, and now he has a goal in a match of the round. Chance to make it 3 here. They're running all over them deep. Snowden coming in, tried to clear him up, missed it completely. The former Tiger. Ball delivered in, should be claimed, and it is. Listen to the Tigers in the sideline roar. A roar of appreciation. Another setback for the Riverstone boys, it seems, is coming upon us. River need to find something really quick. Lorenzo Rodriguez, ball in behind, running was at Nimba. Lorenzo Rodriguez still, he's run from right wing off to the left, and it's been one well. That's tough to say. Subs a foot for the Tigers, it seems. Grimer with a good hustle to win it off the centre-back. The player of the match, arguably. Not just because of his penalty goal. Nice work by Aaron Thomas. Just demanding these players move. And it's just not happening. River have not come to the party, and Tigers have, because they're hosting it, and a chance for a third goal. Unlucky. No team has gone to the bench just yet. I think River must try and look for some sort of way out of this. Siska taken off him. Scotty Jackson is a player that's gone down for Tigers. They might be forced to go to the bench. Jason Grimer can look at this last line of defence. They're going to play on? No, they're not. Alright, attention now turns to, I think, Riley Salkeld out in the middle of the pitch. It's a little bit fortunate that the subs have begun to warm up. They got some pretty good heat off the bench. I can look to Will van der Noord, who's played through the middle. Midfield as has Nico Magias as well. Salkeld was the one who's injured. He's going now to the sideline. Yeah, I think they've gone to the bench. Have Riverstone, that is. On comes for his match of the round debut, Karlo Borovic, the number 6. Formerly, in fact, Tigers are saying we deserve the ball back, which they're going to get back, but Karlo Borovic, formerly, in fact, of Sydney United, as you can probably guess by the itch in the last name. Top player, I've been told, but still re-warming back to club football, been on and off. Chance for Karlo Borovic straight away. Just a goal kick. So Riley Salkeld back on. Tigers yet to use anything off the bench just yet. Why would you when the well-oiled machine is moving well? Ooh! That would have hurt. Jason Grimes doing his best to not let the tears well up in his eyes. That would have hurt. He'll be totally fine. But a painful one nonetheless. Actually at the club 2 years ago. Scored 10 in X League last year, returns to Blacktown and specifically to Riverstone Schofields this year. Here is Karlo Borovic. Lovely work by Riverstone, that's already a lot better. Into the night sky, but not quite out. Karlo putting his elbow up there and says, Robbie Deeth. Doing his best to strut his stuff. Again, it's sunfly for Riverstone in that one moment right there. Captured in that moment. Long throw by Scott Jackson. Maybe a push ball running there. Jason Grimer has been the reward at this point. Very assertive refereeing by Jason McManus. $20 to go in a game that has Felt like it's been quite stop-start in the second half. Jackson to Jackson Fanning. Back here to Jason Grimer. Taken off him by Aaron Thomas. Been probably the pick of the Rivo players today. The yellow coat Charles there. Oh, that's a surprise. Riverstone players are appealing for it while trying to defend. I feel pretty incensed that that's not gone their way. And now the goalkeeper's dancing with the ball. It's all happening here. And they're going to play it quickly. Can't be offside from a throw, of course. There is Jackson Fanning to deliver the ball into the box, perhaps. He's the one who's won this game with his goal today, at least for the time being. Corner it will be. Ball delivered in, flicked towards the goal, cleared away, and now properly cleared away. Sent back into the mixer. Aaron Blacker was there. Aaron Thomas. This is a real good chance. That's why he's been my pick of the bunch. Here is Carlo Borovic. Cuts back. There's the former Sydney United man. Sends it inwards and got his pass wrong on what I imagine is his weaker left foot. Aaron Thomas on his stronger left foot sends it back out wide. So the number 6 has just come on and now tries to feed in the reverse ball. Blocked off by Scotty Jackson and he tries to bash into deep. That's a task I wouldn't want to be tasked with. Pumped forward by Nick Manzos to find Lorenzo Rodriguez, now competing with the touchline as well as two Tigers players. Couple of step overs there. He's actually got through them pretty well, and it's taken off him by Charles Portelli. Been an underrated player in this game so far. Ball bits in behind to Jason Grimer, who's ridden the offside trap perfectly. Jason Grimer now looking for another goal. Jason Grimer now bearing into the box. Jason Grimer taking the pod shot from an acute angle that was blocked off and saved easily. Bonani's hit the deck in the middle of the pitch, and so players stopped. 18 minutes or so left to go in this one. Scott Jackson, who is the captain, of course, commanding the team. Quite a surprise, I would say, to be picked as the captain this year, considering that how engrossed and how committed Tigers are to their player loyalty and to their youth, to the players that have been there for a while. Scotty Jackson, yes, he's been around the club, his kids play at the club and have for a while, and he's a coach, but only joined the playing staff, of course, this season, but tasked with the armband, and he's been a leader that people have believed in, and that's obviously turned out to be a great decision as they lift themselves at the foot of the table, it seems. Let's get it wrong again. It's just not happening at the front end. You know what? There's still plenty of time for Riverstone to score 2 goals. They could score more if they want, but for all their attempts, they just cannot string a number of good passes together and mount a real challenge on Benny Marsh's goal, who has been virtually unchallenged today. Chapman, that ball before it got to him, but it's going to find the head of Grimer. Sent away, though, by Jaden Snowden. There is Fanning, charging it down. A couple of step overs, great, hard, direct running. Left-footed ball towards the back stick. Playing it really well by D'Souza and played quickly by Leroy D'Souza. Here is Chris Mansos, formerly of Parramatta City and Raldemere, as many of these boys are out on the pitch today. And there's a ball clearance. It's going to be a shonky little corner here. Corner to be in-swung on that far side touchline. Reminder to leave a like on the stream if you haven't done so already. 15 minutes left to go. Last moments of this game. The time is now or nigh for Riverstone to mount a comeback. Scott Jackson has a match of the round goal and a match of the round assist to his name. Not today, but across the years. Also has a lone goal to his name, unfortunately. That being against Workers, who was instrumental against when they won 4-0 last week. Just a goal kick. Well, everything about this win for Tigers, obviously assuming that it stays this way, captures the very essence of what this club is all about. Poor from the goal kick. Jackson Fanning had too much time on the ball, and the instincts were replaced by indecision there. Borovic sends it forward. Portelli lets it bounce. Back it goes all the way to Benjamin Marsh, who sends it away up into the night sky. That'll hurt if it comes off someone's head on the foot. It does off Deeth, but his head is made of steel. Get up him! Borovic hit hard there by Scott Jackson. Helped to his feet though. Won't be the first one to come out 50-50 worse for wear with Scott. Ask Jacob Skipperus about that from Polonia. Ball delivered in, far too shallow, cleared away. Tigers will get out of here unscathed. Oh, and a chance to seal the game. Grimer in what has been a coming-of-age match of the round. Over. Now a little push and shove. And Gurj Sadala would never, ever get involved in making a scuffle worse, and he just separates the two straight away. Grimer was saying he was killed off the ball, and to be fair, on replay as I'm watching now, he was basically completely taken out. Well, that's a better goal kick. Gone to a red shirt this time. Well, I told you in the intro that Riverstone were the embodiment of inconsistency, and tonight is another proof in the pudding of that. Last 6 games have only rendered 1 win. That's basically most of the competition has beaten you. Such a weird comp we have this year. Deeth and Gurj are doing a tango in the middle of the pitch. It's hilarious. Not sure why it's been a drop ball. Beats me, but I'm not a ref. Doing too much. A kick. First yellow card for a Tigers player. It'll be for Portelli. Just over 10 minutes left to go in an entertaining match of the round. It's not going to go down as one of the great fixtures of all time in live stream history here in Blacktown, but it's certainly been an interesting one in the context of the season of Quakers Hill Tigers and Riverstone as well. Sadala sent that header wide. It was actually a very good chance for them to find a deficit halfer. So off comes Jason Grimer. Has probably been the pick of the bunch. Capped off by a goal. Tigers' first sub of the match. Scott Jackson flicks that on. Abdullah wins it out of the sky. Just about, and then, that could be really bad for Jackson Fanning, who fell rather quite awkwardly there. And that's one of those ones under minimal contact where the key parts of the body can be hyperextended. I really, really hope he's okay, because that was very, very awkward. It's one of those ones that you wince your teeth at. Geez, hope he's okay. Look at this on replay. Yep, just fell so awkwardly. That right knee could be kaput. Hopefully he's alright. In the meantime, it's a match of the round debut for Ricardo White in the 23 jersey. Luckily, Fanning's alright. Ricardo White onto the pitch. Scott Jackson over the free kick. Jackson Fanning okay. Hanlon. Ooh, sliding challenge there. Free kick quite clearly. As Jackson sends that into the night sky. Should be probably a yellow there. Scotty loves it though. This feels like a bit more vintage from Scott Jackson here tonight. This sort of sparks performances similar to a couple of years ago in Ponds when they were in those grand finals year on year. This is a pre-hamstring tear number 2 performance from Scotty Jackson. With the cheek to go with it, of course. Obviously, had to come off what was a bit of a horror grand final for him, and the mental strength it takes to come back, play for a new team, take the captain's armband. It's pretty admirable, I have to say. Been a fan of what Lorenzo Rodriguez has done tonight, but he's just been a bit too selfish in the last couple of plays. Ricardo White with those youthful boots, putting on the pressure on Leroy D'Souza. Unfortunately, the 26-year-old sent that into touch. Inside 10 minutes to go. In fact, around 7 or so. This has almost been an assured result pretty much since the goal went in. Riverstone have realistically been nowhere near apart from 1 or 2 half chances. The best one came to Cisco towards the back end of that first half. Deeth sending it out wide to O'Hanlon. Can he scupper his way and keep it in Marco Tilio style? He did not. They're in again. Scotty Jackson has so much time. He's going to deliver that ball in. There's no real height in the box there. No one was really attacking that ball. That was more of a nothing ball. Past the halfway line is Braden Chapman. Now Aaron Blacker. Progressive pass to find Fanning, whose game-winning goal will be a real welcome one, I'm sure, in the sheds at full time. Comes here to O'Hanlon and just taken off him at the last moment. And struck from distance, a little deviation off of Snowden. Absolutely no urgency in this game at this point, to be perfectly honest with you. Riverstone, I think, know that their day is done. And Tigers know that the day is about to end in some really crisp, cold beers. And deservedly so. Side netting. Shocking corner. That's all right. Riley Salkeld's performance will not be defined by that corner there. Aaron Blacker slows things down as he finds Deeth, both those two boys into their 11th year representing the Quakers and Tigers boys. 19 to 30 years old now, isn't that impressive? Well said by Jason McManus, as by the book as you'll find. Jackson. Getting towards the goal line as he claimed for D'Souza. Simple pickings. Played short and square. Reminder 2-2 it was in Resis as well, which is not quite a perfect result. Won't amount to a perfect day for Tigers. Their first double club championship win. It was a 2-2 draw, of course. But still, this will make up for it more than that. 4-point on the table weekend, but a 13-point club championship weekend. Isn't that a welcome thing? 5 to go. Telly flips it forward. Behind Mansos, Fanning, who's been brilliant tonight. And on their match of the round debut was Ricardo White. And it went Ricardo wide. Bonani. Looking for an option. Not really getting an easy one. Has to force the curling effort. And now it's been given away. You know what? For all Tigers' efforts, they are pretty much nullifying every avenue that Riverstone have tried to play tonight, and it's been absolutely brilliant to watch as Scott Jackson puts that one in and it's been cleared by Snowden. It's like Riverstone have only ever had one option to pass to the whole game. Very rarely have they been able to combine more than 5 passes together towards the back stick, claimed by D'Souza. Although uncontested, still good nonetheless. 4 to go. Almost 3, in fact. A cruisy afternoon for Tigers. Free kick for the Tigers now. And a third goal will get the party started a couple of minutes before the final whistle. Play quickly. Too quickly for the first time today. Braden Chapman standing over this one, so not Scotty Jackson, but the run-up is too short for a shot. So dinked in it is, and it's been cleared away right on the 18-yard marquee. And now cleared away, and Borovic will close this one down. Competing in the air with Robbie Deef, who sends this towards the commentary box, and away it goes. I think as well, not just is this a good Quakers Hill Tigers performance because they've dominated it, but I think something has to be said about the lack of Riverstone coming to the party. It has been lackluster, I think, is the word to use. Ricardo White off the bench and past. Snowden should square it here. Ricardo White over. Great save. In all fairness to Leroy D'Souza, on the day where he's been pretty busy claiming crosses and facing penalties, he's been able to cap off his night with a pretty fine stop. It was really good work to get past Snowden. Had both sides of the goal to aim at. To be fair, he's pretty much hit it down the throat of the goalkeeper. Just waiting for a mate. Just waiting for a ball. The 90 seconds, I should say 90 minutes, almost up at this point. River probably can't wait for it, and neither can Tigers for a completely different reason. Taron Rockall out-classes Jeff Bogdan tonight, although the scoreline might say that it was close. This game, from first to last, has been dominated by Orange. And that's no disrespect to what this Riverstone side are capable of, but it's because we know that they're capable of more. Perhaps it's because Tigers was intent from the first whistle was to nullify every single passing lane they possibly could. Could a third goal come here It's a little bit deep. It was a nice ball by Portelli in terms of the technique behind it. Looking for an option is Aaron Blacker. Ooh, a little kick out of the ball there too by Bonani. A frustrated Bonani who's just going to receive another yellow card this season. Absolute head loss. Cannot understand why players do that sometimes, especially when the game is decided. We're already 30 odd seconds into added on time. Probably would be about 5 or so minutes to add on considering some of the stoppages in the second half, but I wouldn't be surprised if it ends pretty soon as well. An underwhelming contest, if you like, but a really, really interesting one in terms of what it means for the club championship and the first grade table too. Jackson, with perhaps his final free kick of this match, delivers it deep towards the back stick, headed straight into the hands of a grateful Leroy D'Souza. It's a borrowed on time now. A really good ball in the end by Scott Jackson. Past Bonani. One back there by Blacker off Bonani. Here is Jackson Fanning. Square pass, really brilliantly done. Deeth had it taken off him, but it's one back here by Stevie Deeth. Wants another stab at it, Ricardo White. Still trying his best to wriggle that opportunity open. Portelli. Bit of a shonky clearance, cleared away by Bonani. Out of the sky, Sal Kell has been a really solid performance for him tonight too. Pass 1, pass 2, pass 3, still going, lays it off. Square pass across the face of goal. A bit of a nothing ball, unfortunately, but what about the work there by Riley Sal Kell? 11th year at the club. Only took a stint out of it to be a prospect AYL representative. And the plumber has done a lot of the dirty work in midfield here tonight. Into the 3rd minute of stoppage time. Tiger said on the podcast this week that this kind of performance and this kind of result had been coming. That's why they got their 4-0 win last week. This performance was probably just as good as that 4-0. And even though it might only read 2, I can promise you the team song will be just as loud as it was last week as they shift themselves above Polonia. And likely above them in the club championship too. Seconds, maybe a minute or so to go. Into the 4th minute of added on time. To finish the game off, Ricardo White. Tigers pressing until the final whistle. This will be big. Bonani pulled out of that. If Scotty can play this quickly, there's an option in the box. He's played it to Ricardo White. Still Ricardo White. And now from the edge of the box, Sal Keld. His shot was saved. Approaching the 5th minute of added on time. Played square. Tigers' day could get a whole lot better with a 3rd goal. McManus keeping the game going on, the referee right now. Touch was poor by Ricardo White, but it was a difficult one nonetheless. Chapman, ooh, a chance! Straight off the bench. It was Junior Mayum, I do believe, who's just come onto the pitch, by the way. And those fresh legs still beaten to it by an orange jersey. 5th minute of added on time. Pass brought centrally to Gurgis Abdullah, who tries to turn away from his man. Poor day for Gurgis, unfortunately. And now look at the space in midfield due to his absence. Ricardo White has had 1-2 bites at the cherry. This time he'll play facilitator. Just that final pass, that final touch, been lacking a tiny bit. That is just a kid, he'll be alright. Jackson Fanning out on his feet as we approach the 6th minute of added on time. Look at the way Tigers are just cutting them apart. Probably is a 3rd goal coming here, you know, eventually they will get one. Snowden has fouled his man, quite clearly. They have certainly missed Jackson Laurie today, have Riverstone. And a yellow card for Snowden. And he's saying, how on earth? Urged to hurry the free kick up. There's a 0-man wall. So Scotty Jackson will probably pummel this at the near post if he's so brave. Luca Bononi will now go and stand in a makeshift half-baked wall, and that should have been a goal. That should have been the third for White. Unfortunately, off the bench, he's had probably most of the chances any individual player has had all game. And he's missed all of them, unfortunately, for him. But the fact that he's getting himself in these good positions is a really good sign, nonetheless. Destiny still firmly in the hands of the Quakers Hill Tigers boys, who have clawed their way off the bottom of the ladder. This is a huge win in the context of the Laing Simmons Blacktown Men's Premier League 1. First goal of the day came to Jackson Fanning, who'll never have an easier tap in his life, before Jason Grima converted a penalty that came a couple of minutes into the second half. In both stanzas, the goal came early, and from that point onwards, they were able to control the tempo of each half and utterly outperformed Riverstone in every way, shape or form. Mentally, physically, tactically, they have ruined them here in the match of the round. And for what that could do for River's finals push, well, it's not going to be definitive, but I think mentally that will take a hit. And for some of those players, when the key signings like that are soon to come in or soon to gain their match fitness, or perhaps some of the boys missing something like Nick George, it's going to feel like they need to pick themselves up, because they might have some door knocks from some reserve grade players. That was a pretty telling performance. It shows how far Tigers have come in just a couple of weeks, and look at what a formation change could do. Hey, don't listen to me on the podcast. I've got no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's going to do it for another match of the round here. Saturday night, 7 p.m. is wrapped up for you. Tigers wholeheartedly and fully, wholly the better team out there tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to leave a like. Congratulations to the Tigers, boys. Commiserations to those folk in red. The Gunners have misfired, and the Tigers have stalked their prey. See you next time.